Good pause YouTube, and yeah guys, if I sound a little different, it's because I am sick, but yeah, I do feel a lot better than I felt the past couple of days, which is why I decided to narrate a battle. Now, two things before I get into talking about the team preview. One, this is not my team, this is my good friend PokeAimMD's team. His channel link will be down in the description, so make sure to go check him out. Also, number two, for those of you who saw Ryland's battle that I sent him that he narrated, reason why I wasn't addressed is because last year, this club I was in was doing a womanless beauty pageant where the guys dress up as girls and just have a pageant and all that. And the reason was because we wanted to raise money for cancer and to raise money for the club. So half of the money would go to cancer research and half of the money would go to our club. So I felt that I did a good deed because the teacher who was actually in charge of the club is my favorite teacher ever. She's like a second mother to me, so obviously I would do anything for her. And she asked me, because not many guys had joined in, so she was like, Leo, would you do this for me? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? It's not that big of a deal. And yeah, pictures were taken, ended up on Facebook. Ryland got pictures, and now about 2,000 or 3,000 of you saw that, which a lot of you probably aren't even subscribed to me. But yeah, for those of you few who did saw it, yeah. But if you're wondering, no, I did not win the pageant. But I did leave a lasting impression that people still talk to about this day. I'm not going to get into detail about what it is. Anyways, team preview. My opponent has a very annoying wall core between Slowbro and Umbreon, but borrowing that Slowbro doesn't carry Fire Blast, and I know my Ferroseed will actually be able to kind of deal with both of those and stall them out with Toxic and Leech Seed. Flygon and Raikou, depending on which one is Scarfed, is going to prove to be really annoying. Also, maybe the Porygon Z might be an Agility set, but then I do have Bronzong, Kofagurgis, and Ferroseed for that. But yeah, anyways, because he doesn't have anything to really touch Swampert, I'm going to be leading off with him, as he's going to be leading off with the Flygon. Now, because I thought the Ice Punch or the Waterfall was too obvious, thinking that he will bring in Slowbro, I'm actually going to go for the Roar, as he brings in Machamp, and ironically enough, I roar him into the Slowbro. Unfortunately, I have nothing that can touch Slowbro, so what I'm going to do is actually bring in my Bronzong, and even if this Slowbro does carry the Fire Blast, I know I should be able to take one and still be able to get on my Stealth Rocks freely and easily, but he goes for the Scald, gets a crit, and burns me. And that burn and crit actually plays a bit of a role later on in the battle. Also, I forgot to mention that my opponent does not have any Rapid Spinner and doesn't have any form of Entry Hazard user. So I'm going to try to use those two disadvantages to my advantage and try to get up as many hazards as I can and not have to worry about him getting up any. So he's going to switch out to Umbreon, which I found to be a bit odd, but I did just leave him my Bronzong basically for fodder, as this turn he's going to bring in the Machamp, I guess just wanting to use me as death fodder, but what I decided to do was double switch into my Ferroseed. Unfortunately, I did get the bad end of the deal, but I know because Machamp tend to carry Substitute, I'm actually going to predict him to sub, predicting me to be fearing the Dynamic Punch, and I'm actually going to get up a layer of Spikes, which is just great because now I can definitely wear down the rest of his team outside of Flygon with the Entry Hazards. As this turn, I'm thinking he might go for the Dynamic Punch, so I am going to bring in my Kofagurgis, but he ends up going for the Bulk Up, which actually really did scare me, but as you're about to see, this Stone Edge, even at +1, only does 114 points of damage, which is just wow! I actually have no defensive ease. I am actually the Trick Room Nasty Plot set, so Kofagurgis definitely showing why it got moved up to UU. Anyways, here, I'm just going to go for a second Shadow Ball on the off chance that maybe he wanted to stay in just to get off a bit more damage. But then again, I could have gone for the Will-O-Wisp, which really would have been a bad thing for him. But he's going to bring in the Porygon Z. It turns out to be a download set, which has me thinking he might go for the Agility. So what I wanted to do was just bring in my Bronzong, just basically as death fodder, and this is where the crit burn actually mattered because I did calculate, and with the EVs that Joey has on this Bronzong, I actually would have been able to barely live the Dark Pulse and been able to get off a Gyro Ball and possibly taking out the Porygon Z. Unfortunately, that isn't the case, and he did crit me and he did burn me, but hey, hacks is hacks, and I can't do anything about it. I am 6-foot hacks after all. I do get hacks. Anyways, I bring in my Ferroseed. Thankfully, he does not have the Hidden Power Fighting. I'm able to take the Tri-Attack, get the Leech Seed off, and the Fallen Turn, on the off chance that maybe he wanted to leave it in and just get more damage off from Ferroseed, I decided just to get up a layer of Spikes, as he's going to bring in the Flygon, knowing that 99.9% of Flygons are choiced. I am going to go for the Protect, and because he did go for the Fire Punch, I'm actually going to switch in my Swampert, and surprisingly enough, he actually stays in, which has me thinking that maybe he predicted me to stay in, predicting him to switch out, which wouldn't be a bad play at all, but here he stays in again. maybe thinking I would bring in Pharaoh Seed, but if you're going to stay in the first time, I'm just going to bring in my Chandelure, which, if you're wondering what the name means, Illuminati, want my mind, soul, and my body. So he's going to bring in the Porygon Z, and I have a Flash Fire boost. I am modest, and I am max special attack. Something is about to die, and unfortunately it's Porygon Z, but yeah, hey, whatever. So he brings in the Raikou, and the off chance that maybe he was Specs, I decided to make a very, very risky play, stay in, knowing that I had about a 70% chance to live a Specs Raikou's Thunderbolt. I decided to risk it and go for the Fire Blast, but luckily for me, he actually ended up predicting me to bring in my Swampert, went for the extra sensory, and I'm able to get rid of the Raikou. As this turn he brings in Flygon, I'm just going to switch it to my Swampert, and he crits me. Why does this game hate me? Anyways, as you're going to see, I'm actually going to get my own bit of hacks, and I'm going to go for the U-turn as he did switch out, and I'm going to be able to pull a crit. Unfortunately, because I am a modest nature, the U-turn just barely fails to KO the Umbreon, as I'm going to bring in my Chandelure, and at this point, I have 2 layers of spikes up and I have Stealth Rocks up. And yeah, there's no way this Umbreon is going to leave this field alive, because I'm either going to miss, which is going to piss me off, or I'm going to hit, and I'm going to roast this thing alive, which luckily I don't miss the Fire Blast, and I managed to destroy the Umbreon. But he's going to bring in the Slowbro. Now, yes, this Fire Blast is resistant, but what I wanted to do was just try to get damage off on whatever he brought in, or on the options that maybe he switched out for some reason. I could hit that with the Fire Blast. Unfortunately, I missed Fire Blast on the damn Slowbro, but hey, it's alright, because at this point, he has nothing that wants to take a Specs Hurricane. So luckily for me, I don't miss the Hurricane, and actually, Joey originally had Air Slash on this Tornadus, but I changed it to Hurricane, and that plays a role later on in the battle. As this turn is going to bring in the Flygon, knowing that he really can't do anything to my Cofagrigus, and knowing that he's not going to outrage just because I do have the Pharaoh Seed, I'm actually going to bring in Cofagrigus, predicting him to switch out, or possibly staying to get a bit more damage off. I'm actually going to go for the Nasty Plot, as opposed to going for the Trick Room, because there's always a chance he could possibly crit me with any move that he has on the Machamp. And I know his Shadow Ball is not going to be a sure one-hit KO, so I thought going for the Nasty Plot was a safer and smarter play in that situation. So this turn, I know I should be able to take a Stone Edge. He gets a crit, which really isn't that bad, because judging for how much damage the Stone Edge did earlier at +1, I know after leftovers I should be able to take another one, and easily just take out the Machamp, and then bring in Tornadus and hopefully win the battle. But he crits me again. And at this point, my last 2 are Pharaoh Seed and Tornadus. And I have to do something no player should ever do, and rely on a 70 accuracy move to hit more than once. So I hit the first one, get rid of my champ. Because his Flygon is Scarfed, he's going to be able to outspeed me. He does have to lock himself into the Fire Punch, and I miss the Hurricane. So it all comes down to whether or not this Hurricane hits, and yes, thank you Tornadus. I'm able to hit the Hurricane and pull out the victory 2-0 in my favor. So yeah, guys, if you did enjoy the narration, please feel free to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to see more content. With that, enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and I do believe I am out of here. Haha, later.